First was a large engagement and interaction with His Excellency the President. The President has said that he will do this as often as possible. So, Your Excellency, thank you so much for giving us your time and especially during this festive season. Have some interactions with the young people. As the Ministerial of Sports, we work with three categories of youth and young people. Youth and young people who are not in school, youth and young people who are in school, and youth and young people who are out of school. A few months ago, we were here. We had a program for quote-unquote at-risk youth who graduated after their training program. The whole idea was to make them useful, build their capacities. Today, Your Excellency, you will be either highly with not at-risk youth, but those who are professionals or are striving to be. I was very fortunate to talk with few ministers in government on some of the statistics on young people, their performances at those institutions. One that really caught my attention and I was pleased with was when the Minister of Health said to me, Mr. Minister, about 85% of my specialized medical doctors currently are below 35. That is valuable, right? And so, in my mind, when the census report says that nearly 75% of the country's population are either youth or young people, then that feedback from the health minister in my mind is realistic. And it's not just the health ministry. If you want to speak with sector heads, various government ministries, or in the private sector, young people are doing extremely well. So on behalf of the Ministry of Sports and the government, I'd like to say, welcome to this interactive session. God bless you.
So, folks, how are the points of the...
Thank you, Councillor Bangalu. We'd like to recognize amazing and wonderful personalities here this afternoon. And to every person, the Minister of State for Presidential Affairs and the Inspector General for the Police. A round of applause for that. One seven seven. 177. 177 years later, we continue an ongoing dialogue on how to build a perfect country, on how to build a Liberia that works for all Liberians. 177 years later, we continue an ongoing dialogue or conversation on how to inspire Liberians to live up to high ideals of our nation. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Constance Joetta, and I'm honored to welcome you to the EJS Ministerial Complex. I'm humbled to be your moderator and master of ceremony today, facilitating the discussion between our nation's vision bearer, President Joseph and Boakai, and my fellow young Nigerians. This event is hosted by the Office of the President, Youth and Sports. The Youth Town Hall is part of the 2024 Independence Day celebration, a space for dialogue between young people and their leader. It represents the president's commitment to listen, to empower, and to include young people in shaping Liberia's future. To every youth delegate here, grasp the significance of this meeting. Grab a good word, because this is the pivotal moment in our nation's history. This is the time for young people to be loud, critical, and respected voices in developing Liberia begins now. Your ideas, your energy, your passion are essential in driving our nation forward. Today, we engage directly with the President of the Republic of Liberia to ask pressing questions and share our vision for a better Liberia. Let's ensure that the voice of youth are not just heard, but are acted upon. This is why the President is here, to listen to your suggestions. You know, it's often said that if there is a problem, there is a solution. And if there is a solution, there needs suggestions. Young people, what are your suggestions? Let's make a meaningful impact on our nation's futures today. But on the side note, to everyone in the audience, if you're going to be posting on your social media, kindly use the hashtag building a new Liberia for all Liberians, because that is why this event is about. Building a new Liberia for all Liberians. Today's event includes addressed by His Excellency Ambassador Joseph Boakai, and after that, we're going to get, of course, 7 young people, as young as I am, as young as you are, like you, on the panel, who will be asked questions, who will say their concerns. And thank you for being here. Let's begin a dialogue. But first of all, ladies and gentlemen, it is an esteemed and distinct honor to welcome on stage a former youth. You know how it's often said by our parents who say, I think what you not do, and I've done it before. So, I'd like to welcome on stage the President of the Republic of Liberia, His Excellency Ambassador Joseph Boakai. Kindly get a standing ovation for the President.
In terms of the need for us to put you in a mode of the celebrations and the way in which we think our country should be moving. Mr. State let us tell that we should expedite it. But I just want to assure you that this is just the beginning, because I like to listen and I like for young people to talk with respect to who they see themselves and their future. One of our come out of here, one of our category for we want to let you know that this is your country. And one of us will let you know that once, like you, under different administrations. Sometimes it's even nice to share some of the experiences, like when we were in the third man era. And one time we had to parade the whole day in the sun to go to the
at that time Stadium, because there were rumors that there was some maybe not much disrespect for the president. And at that time, they were in the hall with the sun for about 3 hours. And President Tubman walked in and said, "You Ragamuffins, you bunch of hooligans, heard this king in the street, tell me the man you want. He's not the man you want, he's the man you got." And later on, it was so nice, he said, "If you're going to my friends are going to be rude to you. They're calling you Ragamuffins and hooligans." That's the way it was. Next time we like to change the tone a little bit in discussion. We have called you, not appreciate you, but to let you know that this country is yours. I don't care what we do, everybody cannot leave this country to go elsewhere. Because as soon as the opportunity arises, some of us, I ask now, we have more than 300 Liberians students in Rwanda, a country that went through genocide. Because we're so easy to relocate and we don't take the time to build our country for the betterment of our future and the future of our children. And I have said to myself in life that with the opportunity, everything that I didn't enjoy in life is what I would like for the young people that are coming out. Because we believe that legacy, after all, you don't have to take makeup for all the things you did not enjoy. You can let it show in other people. So today we are just about a few days away from the celebration of the 26th. And you are here, and we said we should like to meet and interview. Our plan is to talk with the youth, we'll talk with the Christian community, we'll talk with the Muslim community, we'll talk with whichever communities to make sure that you all understand where we are. We all understand where we are heading to, because it will take everyone collectively to make us go into that direction. You will be celebrating 177 years. That's not a small figure. You go to Ghana, I think it was 61. Cote d'Ivoire, they're mostly in their 60s. But that's where we want to go. These are the countries that were looking up to us. But you know, this country has even more than those countries. It's the way we manage ourselves that we begin to look up to people who should be looking up to. But I have said, whenever the chance comes, we'll make sure that Liberia again will be a country to look up to. And I mean it seriously. I'm a little bit, these are my very close friends. But when I hear the Ghanaians say they are the gateway to Africa, and I quietly say Liberia will be the destination. And that is the way. And the positioning of Liberia tomorrow is with you here. We are very, very blessed to have the best of young people A couple of years ago, as vice president, I went to Nigeria and I listened to the youth parliament debate. It wasn't that coherent. And I listened and said, but what do we have? By the time for motion and things, I believe that without looking down on other people, I believe that we can compare well many places. Over the weekend, I spent a time on my farm with a young man, I don't know whether he's here, who did a solo flight, who took a plane from the United States, he alone, one Indian plane is at Liberia, and then I switched and flew here. Perhaps the first black young man from Table Grand Gile. He spent the weekend with me. Maybe history is not making much noise about him, but it's a record for us. A young man, only 30 years old, black, they take an airplane, fly all the way, and landed here in Liberia. There's another young man with him, Bill Rogers, who is known for his experience during the war, and how he's been able to contribute to sport and education in the States. What I'm saying is that there's a lot in this country that we need to unveil. There's a lot that we have in the young people. Unfortunately, all you hear on Facebook and insults, bringing down people, and sometimes I wonder, what do you get out of it? What do you really get out of it? I'm reminded of a story someone told me about two friends, and God said, I'm your friend, the two of you. But whatever I gave you one, I'll give the other person two. And I got concerns. How come God, you say we are your friends. Whatever you give me one, you get the other man two. God said, yeah, I'm sorry. And this is the kind of thinking that most of us have. And he went to bed one night and said, well, are you serious? I said, yeah. He said, bought my one eye. So they can both the man two eyes. What benefit will that do to you? I thought you were going to say, give me one airplane, and give the other man two airplanes. Another story that someone told me that is quite interesting, and I really saw the evidence, is that Liberians are like, you go to the desert, you are thirsty, there's no water, and just about the time you have to give up, so you see a fountain with a bottle of water by the fountain. And there's a writing on the bottle, drink this water, or use the water to prime this pump and get more water for other people. So the Liberian will drink the water and loot it. And I thought the person was joking until I went to speak at the graduation of they were training the magistrate. I was a guest speaker. And they showed me a book that someone had borrowed from the library, the lost book. And they read the book and they cut the chapter out of the book cut the chapter out so nobody else can read it. It sounds funny, but it's not funny. This kind of spirit that we have to give up on. So because you look at our economy, and this is the reason, part of the reason, because all of you were here, we all are interrelated. You will get to know what country we have taken over. And sometimes you think nobody hates anybody. But the truth of the matter is that if we continue this way, we'll go to 200 years and this country will be desolate. And that's what I want to talk about. How do we become a little different? Make use of the opportunity God has given you. You are reading, you're reading economics. A country is a country, big or small. The country has land. You have capital, and it's have people. That's why I take the little country. You have the land, you have the capital, you have people, and then from there on. Today our country will have the land, but the experience I like to share with people is that growing up here, we were first to have a Duke Intercontinental Hotel. Today go there, we have it, nothing. We also have Hotel Africa. Go there, nothing. And we don't care. You people don't know, but there was mining in Mano. You go there, not only that there's nothing, but there's no life there. I grew up in Tottenham, LMC. Some of you have been there, come from that place is put down. One of the most destitute capitals I've seen. Nothing. Bone mine, gone, nothing. Yekipa, luckily acclimatized there, nothing. Then my children are going on drugs. You tell me, what do you have? What are you going to have? The resources are gone. Then the young people that you depend on, they are going the wrong direction. And give you serious thinking that we need to think about our country and about our youth and about the future of this country. Today we have people digging all over China, digging sand and everything, digging it out. You were talking about the road. What do we have? What's your future? The other day we have interviewed in the university. At the university I graduated from, at a campus, there are a lot of you here with talents in IT and so. What opportunities are you going to have? You're not going to leave this country no matter what you do. Other people don't want people in their country. And even if you go there, you go to the great United States, they will give you titles. If you get a good dishwasher, they call you aquatic engineer. What does that mean to Liberia? Nothing. So we want to talk to you when you talk back to us. Because you have to desire what kind of country you want. You have to desire where you want to be. You want to desire how people after you will be. And so I feel that we should talk, and you people should start talking to us and let us. Sometimes I wrote that change the tune of on the radio and using people, the tune of getting people think positive, think about what you will be and what you want. The last time I encountered the university student, they were giving me a mandate. You give me a mandate, I don't execute, what do you do? You put me in jail. We are looking for a mandate. We want to die. When you tell us what is good for you, what you want, what kind of country you want, what you want to be known. And our responsibility is to make sure that happens. And we have some ideas. I live in this country. Every year we have rainfall, and we will have rainfall. We have dry season, but the rainfall, we say we can't go to the southeast because the road not good. But the rain will only destroy the road. Is that something to avoid? Is to make the road work. Today people are coming from the southeast. Isn't that so? Yeah, they're coming from there. It's not. I would say if a woman is pregnant after 9 months, you say, "Oh, I think you were going to have baby." Well, what are you going to have? It will always rain. The job is to put the money where it's supposed to go to the lives of people. The job is to put money into school for the young people to learn and to bring back to their country. It's not to steal money to go put it in foreign bank. It's to put the country and be proud. What kind of country? 177 years. You still don't have roads. You don't have good drinking water. The streets are not good. The children cannot have learning opportunities. By the way, surprisingly, yesterday I was in the car and they said that the richest man in the world I was talking to, he promised that he would make sure he would make Nigeria digital. And I read it for him. But I think God loves this country. We don't just love ourselves. And that's why I want, it's not a written speech. It's just for us to dialogue. Maybe it will help you to rethink. It's not about me. You want to read about me, there's a book called From Poya to the Capital. Read it. You'll find out. I grew up, I'm a handicapped mother. I used to pick up my toes and look this way. I tap rubber. I walked 2 times. I walked to Birmingham and I walked to Fashion. My story is not is to make your story better. And that's why we're here. We just exchange ideas. And I hope we can find a time to learn more so that you young people will begin to think seriously as to what will be of benefit to you. Not going on spoon, cutting down people. I said this government is not going to run on the social media. You have a problem, let's talk about it. Or we have institutions, we'll talk to them. That's why we said we'll make sure there will be TV in every headquarters. of this country. That's why we said there's going to be radio station, ELBC must be everywhere so that people can talk. The social media, how many people on social media? I tell you, up country, people are caught up. So this is not a speech time, it's dialogue time for us to assess our situation in this country. Young people, the future of this country. Where do you move? How are we going to move this country? Some of you are well skilled and you need opportunities come through empowering you and making sure that the best in you is rather to build a country that is more beautiful than many other countries that we have neglected over the years. Greed, corruption, selfishness, all is about I, me, and myself. And once we live like that, you're not going to have a country. Because a lot of good talents around there are going to be deprived. And even beyond, and you'll be wishing to go elsewhere. That elsewhere is very limited now. You gotta encourage the young people to get up drugs. And some of them are on drugs because of frustration. They lost their parents, nobody to look after them. We have to be caring. And for those of you who are okay, to also find a way to look after them. I don't have a speech. I just want to stimulate your minds so that we start looking at this country. Maybe some of you, some of the actions we will take, you will think we don't hate anybody, but we want our country for you to make sure you have a future, and we have a country that we can be proud of, and you can be proud of, and you have an opportunity to move everywhere in this country. Monrovia is not a, some of your parents came here just like many people. So I want to welcome you again. Thank you all for coming. This is my initial engagement, and maybe we can move on to something else. And I know very well that when we have TV stations, radio stations, we can communicate with a larger audience than you. But some of you here are student leaders, and you're leaders in your communities. Leadership doesn't necessarily mean president. Anybody who takes leadership, who becomes responsible is a leader. So let me just stop here briefly, and I know there's a moderator. We can begin some engagement. I would not intend to answer questions from everybody here because we go there sleeping. But at least if someone says something, you can say something different. I'm not the only one to answer the question. God, you people here, some of these people here who I'm sure the two are young people. I mean, you have the Inspector General here, the Minister of State, and Minister of Youth and Sport, and somebody who, I mean, I know you know, I don't want to check out because I don't want to be carrying that type of information. So thank you very much initially.
So that was His Excellency Joseph Yuan Boakai remarks to the young people at the town hall meeting. Amongst other things, he said this is not about him.
Liberia will again be the country we look at. Young people, every decision is upon you, is the words of His Excellency, President President. Thank you, President. At this juncture, I'd like to introduce just a little bit, because individually they're going to introduce themselves. Our panelists today. Vibrant, as a matter of fact, I'd like to emphasize vibrant panelists. We have Ms. Josephine Kolwa. Please, a round of applause for her. Ms. Marian Francis, woman with the Abubakar C. Jallo. Ms. Althea Faith Kemokai. Vanika S. Elliott. Mohammed Gandhi Kamara. Honorable Daniel N. Mills. So individually, they're going to introduce themselves, tell a little bit about themselves, then we move further. Good afternoon. Let me interject a little, just on the one minute question. Thank you.
Well, my name is Marian Francis. I'm a professional police officer and the former and executive director of the Strong Security Space. It's an organization that promotes women's security within the next generation of professional women in security. Thank you.
Women, oh women.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Daniel English. I volunteer for the International Environment and Honorable Union Finance as speaker. I work with several organizations for the past year, 2009, not worried. My first engagement was with the National Student Union, where I said, Grandkid Congo, I come from. And the first lead support for the national week of the world that had a process. We moved to Universal Liberia, right there, began to speak on the matter of the youth in peace and regional body for voting people for youth. We have to monitor elections in the environment basin, and we talk about peace and issues that affect young people across the environment. Thank you so much.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Vanika Stephanie Elliott, and I am the president of the Television Library Youth. By the way, first female president. So, I'm a believer. I'm a frank believer also that every young person should have access to opportunity. So, my passion for youth service has led me to make contribution to our nation as a whole. I am very delighted to be here. It is an opportunity to meet with the president of Veteran of the Federation of Library Youth, who also experience all the challenges that we have experienced, that we are experiencing as young people. And like you said, Mr. President, we will not be telling you a lot today because you already do know. But I think it's an honor for you to listen to us, for us to share our own concern, and we think this is a good start. And we really applaud you for that. Thank you very much.
Your Excellency, President Boakai, President of the Republic of Liberia, each of the government here present, former executive committee members of the Liberia National Student Union, former youth and student leaders here present, I bring you warm greetings from the Liberia National Student Union at the Center of Consciousness. My name is Gandhi, Mohammed Gandhi Kamara. I volunteer as president at the National Student Union. The Liberia National Students Union was established at 252 past the law 1957. The Liberia National Students Union was established to superintend the activities of students of this republic. Since then, the Liberia National Students Union lived up to its mandate. Today, we are here to dialogue with the president. Before I came here, there was a debate about whether there had been a dialogue with presidents in the history of our country before. I said yes. Somebody said no. I said there was a dialogue in 1979 after April 15th, the president talked. But then that dialogue was after these two leaders were arrested and later because of international pressure, the president was forced to dialogue with them. And I said, even after April 12th, that students, leaders in this country, they had dialogue with President Bush. Similarly with President Kiva. And when I said after the student uprising of the MTS student in 2010 March, there was a dialogue. It began with President Kiva. In 2018, when Georgia was beaten with protests of students from the University of Liberia and the country of student education class. Participated, played with pride. Like a school chairmanship, chairman, but I said today engagement, we have no tension in the country. We have no riot in the country. This dialogue is being fought. Yeah, go on. So, like I was saying, I'm seeing all these recent presidents under circumstances. They were forced to do it. But today, the president was told no duress to have conversation. So, all to believe that this conversation is genuine. So, again, the president, like to say, we want to experience our revolutionary legislation for this.
So, for your reports, all these economics.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Boakai. I'm a teenager. I work in the state for about 8 years. Then I'm 16 years old. Currently, I serve as the program manager of the Young Political Leadership School Africa, where I manage the affairs of over 900 young people in 12 African countries. I serve on many panels and privileged to serve there, including the UN Human Rights Panel and the Human Capacity Consortium of Nigeria and the HCC. Most of the time when I'm not in Monrovia, I'm always in councils conducting emerging political leaders training. And when I'm not in Liberia and across Africa, collaborating with other young leaders like the program for young politicians in Africa. I'm passionate about youth development and program planning. It is a good thing to be here today with other young people and to engage with the president. Thank you. Good evening, everyone. My name is Giuseppe Colba. I'm the founder and executive director of the Jojo Hope House of Substance Freedom. The Jojo Hope House was founded 2021. And over the years, we worked with over 30,000 young people across Liberia. So, well, we started with us. I'm dressed like this today to say, to make a statement, in gatherings like this, most times, all the time, the disadvantaged youth wouldn't even get the opportunity to be in gatherings like this, no matter what they know. And I know what they know, because I work with them every day. So I'm here to represent them. That's why I want my nice and give me the thank you so much.
So now the voice of Jojo, as you are maybe aware, Jojo is in a rehabilitation center, and she always take care of the less fortunate.
My grandfather from business, we are studying information technology in software, obviously, I know one or two. But since then, I've been working in the marketing field for a very long time, which was since 2019. Started with LFA, went to BNB, and other places where I can establish my own marketing firms. I have two different marketing firms. If you do foodstuffs, you can reach out to me. You can office the president. So I'm here to speak about my business, but not just my business. I just was a forum 2 years ago where we try to speak about stories so we can empower young business entrepreneurs that are coming up. And the idea of that is to be able to help everyone to build successful businesses over time. And with this, the Canada and here, because the core of that is to advocate to the government to be able to support startup businesses. Thank God we're here today. We have a lot to discuss. Thank you.
So folks, now the process of the panelists.
Is it too easy? Say with me, it's too easy. Is it too easy? Come on, folks, say with me. Is it too easy? Exactly. So we're all privileged to be here with the President of the Republic of Liberia and all young people to speak to concerns. So we delve strictly into the matter as why we are here. So our panelists. First of all, I must acknowledge you guys are doing tremendously well in your sectors. It takes a leader to do so. Speaking of that, I previously mentioned there is a problem, there is a solution. And if there is a solution, there needs suggestions. And these young people, they come with their suggestions. Problems, solutions. So, to our panelists, starting on my far right, what worries you the most in your sector? And what do you suggest is the solution?
So now the question posed to the panelists.
Thank you, President Joetta. And I must say, as a young lady, as a youth development practitioner, working and involved in the space of governance and political leadership for young people, the challenges around representation, both in leadership and just politics, and the issue of corruption scares me the most. It keeps me up at night. Sometimes I get so frustrated and hopeless. Limiting youth opportunities, undermining trust in institutions. As for youth representation, Liberia youthful demographic presents a great window of opportunity to invest in the now. I know most times we always say we are the future, but we are also in the now. The outcomes of now will determine what will happen for us in the future. I have seen a lot of young people take on leadership and political leadership role through the Young Political Leadership School Africa. I have witnessed many young people come and get trained in the areas of leadership, elections, and governance with the passion, and they are currently winning offices across Africa, including Liberia, getting appointed in government as well. I'm making reference to this to say young people have the number and there is strength within their numbers to mobilize the best among them. We need to invest in young people. especially in the space of leadership and politics. With the right knowledge and skills, I firmly believe in intergenerational leadership. In a sense, you need to have the older people there, but also what's next, the young generation. So against this, to the corruption end, it undermines trust with young people, with leaders, and with institutions. During the elections, I was privileged to observe the elections in other countries and also Liberia and work with young people who tirelessly went across the 15 counties to conduct civic education initiatives, mobilizing thousands of young voters. Now, if young people put in such effort to just educate people on how to vote, or who to vote for, or what to look out for the future, and then the system continue to be corrupt, is going to discourage them a lot. Against this, I will recommend to this government, humbly recommend, that the national government commit to meaningful youth representation, not just superficial inclusion, just to say they are here, but then no real authority or no real power. To truly address this gap, I'm pretty sure that the fact that we are seated in this hall today, young people put this thought together to ensure that we have a meeting, and this thought was raised by the older generation. This is what I call intergenerational leadership. And also on the issue of corruption, I would recommend that the government use the audit report to prosecute those found in an act of corruption. An act of corruption in any sector of government. Any sector of government affects young people everywhere in Liberia. The fact that we make up the vast majority of the population, we are affected the most. We need strong institutions. Accountability and transparency are key pillars of democracy. We need strong institutions, or else our nation will fail. Just to point this out again before I pass the mic, what worries me the most is the lack of adequate youth representation and corruption in our country. Thank you. The lack of adequate, I like the emphasis on adequate youth representation. Committed to meaningful youth representation, one of the things I highlighted. And in that, we should invest in young people. I like that you use invest. To our next panelists, the question, again, if I may. What worries you the most? I know you're with the disadvantaged youth. I've seen you, and I've seen your work. What worries you the most in your sector? And what is your suggestion? What do you suggest that should be done about it?
So that I say,
thank you.
Jojo,
there are many things I'm worried about. So many things.
She will be giving her own take.
But the most is the increasing number of young people that I see every day on the streets, in the ghettos, and in our communities. The ones we call Zogos. Some nice people call them disadvantaged youth. I'm deeply worried about the issue of drugs importation and drugs abuse in our country. I'm worried about how we might lose an entire generation to drugs. And with this, I think, as a social worker, as a drugs fighter myself, these are things I think the government should be looking into, since we're having a dialogue. To address this, we need to put everything or every measure in place to make sure we minimize the importation of drugs in our country. We need to strengthen the borders. We need to strengthen our border securities. We need to empower the DEA. And by the way, we need to also disrobe A lot of them. A lot of DEA. Sometimes I feel bad when I see some of our DEA fighting the drugs or drugs fighting them. Yes, we need to disrobe some of our DEA officers. We need to work with and empower local organizations that are also fighting these drugs by themselves. We need to start a national drugs awareness campaigns from school to school, from churches to mosques, and from community to community, from county to county, from district to district. We also need to create a safe space for community dwellers for information. We need to create a space where community dwellers can be safe enough to give out information on importers and dealers. Lastly, we need to build rehabilitation centers, at least in 5 major counties of Liberia, not just Monrovia. We have a rehabilitation in big cities like Lopa County. I'm from Lopa County. The last time I visited Lopa, I felt bad because I felt that we're traditional. But drug has kicked our tradition away. We need a rehabilitation center in Liba. We need it in Basel. So if His Excellency and the government who work together to at least open 5 facilities or facilities in 5 major counties, it will be a very good start. Thank you so much.
So that was the voice of Georgia Foundation. And
thank you very much, Ms. Coleman. One of the things you highlighted is the increasing numbers of disadvantaged youth. You know how we used to say, oh, we get that boy there, he disadvantaged you, but he put it in Monrovia. Now, can we say that? I reckon with you. You also mentioned that we have to put in every, not one, but every measure. Strengthen our borders, empower DEA, the Drug Enforcement Agency. Awareness campaign, drug enforcement or drug awareness campaign. Safe space for community dwellers and rehabilitation center. I do have a question on that. It's often said that we should create a space for disadvantaged youth to rehabilitate them. What if there's a rehabilitation center? What's next after that? What do you suggest after that?
so,
Thank you.
back
I don't know
to
what your
Georgia.
questions already, but that's nice. Thank you. Of course, we have challenges at rehabilitation centers. I run a rehab. For 3 years, I've been there, so I can tell you. Since you gave me 1 minute, so I have to just go straight to what I think should be done at first. But anyway, after rehab, we definitely need empowerment. Because what happens is, when I go to the ghetto and recruit 10 people, the next time I go there, I see 50 new people. And the chances of relapse is as high as hunger during April 6th. The relapse is very high, it's frustrating. So by the time we take our eyes off John, paying attention to Paul, John is going back because of the availability. So for rehab, we surely need empowerment. We need skills training. That's where the TVET comes in. Thank you.
So,
Thank you very much.
yes.
Finally, a round of applause to our next panelist, who is, of course, into business. Again, I reiterate the question. What worries you the most? And what do you suggest in your sector?
Thank you. I think I'm taking here today because the one I started with me, honestly. But that's not really thing for me to always smile. Every time people are worried with those things, every time you have to be worried about what happens next. What happens next is a serious issue. One, we all believe that we have a small market, so we actually produce small market. The failure rate of startup businesses in Liberia in Africa is so high. In Africa, as of last year, is up to 80% of startup businesses failing in the first 5 years. Here I am with the everybody organization today. What happens in the next 5 years? Do you think I'm at peace knowing that I might not survive next year, or the year after, or the year after that? So I always have to be worried. Countries like Ghana, like Nigeria, Kenya, about 25 countries in Africa actually have a strong startup ecosystem wherein the economy actually depends on the growth of startup businesses. And Nigeria, up to 40% of that, how you call it, an economy of high. You have Kenya, you have Egypt, you have Ghana. Ghana is up to 20%, which is very good. What happens in Liberia? Liberia close to 25. So this worries me. So imagine how many other young people actually go through the same. This is not just about business. You open a startup NGO, and after a year or maybe after a few months, certain things will happen, and then the entire idea will die. It's not because they don't have passion, it's not because they don't have the idea, but because of the environment we have created for ourselves and the lack of support from the government to help these things to grow. So, in a way to help minimize and improve the rate of success, the success rate of startup business, I believe that the government has to create a way to have businesses to access funding. It's very important that we have funding like our businesses. So currently we have 1 out of 20 surviving, you have 5 out of 20 surviving. If there's a way you get low interest loan, there's a way where you have no business, just no market cost. If there are other ways that you don't need to fund it. I started my business with 5 t-shirts. Today I can sell over 2,000 t-shirts right in this room. It's good for me, but what happens after the next 3 years? There might be another business that might not be as lucky as me, who will be able to expand it. Short story. I traveled to China this day to produce my t-shirts. Now, this is about 2 years after producing 18 garments, which means our products have been reaching out. So before we move, before I could travel to China to make this happen, I spent 6 months looking for investors because I believe that if I continue to do the same thing I do every day, business will not. I always know people are close to me. I believe in any investment, and there are very rich people that will actually do that. All because I see people that are not but you cannot find an investor because people cannot so that's a serious problem for us. Another thing is we have to create educational opportunities for young people. So we start from high school, and that's very important. We do not wait for college to start to teach people about industry, about politics. I think we should go to junior high, the senior high, and all of this. And we take that honestly. Today, if you check out everybody knows, why everybody is eating t-shirt because that's what should be. But there's technology that's the leading force of every part of the world. There's agriculture, agri-tech is very important that people get into it. But people do not know these things because there are no proven data to show to people that say, hey, we have sectors that actually will be in India. But if we have to have sectors that can actually help the young people to make research and understand which field is actually good, which sector is making a point, it's easy to make a wise decision, a decision that will help you to not let your business fail in the first year or in the second or in the third, because where the market is supposed to go. But if you get into a business without even understanding anything about the business will go. So if the government can create policies that can help these kind of businesses, a business like you will be able to go international and compete with Nike, compete with Chanel, and compete with so many other people. And this is why I wish every business person, like I said earlier, the idea forum 2 days ago. The idea of the forum is to help the startup businesses, the owners, and all stuff. But the overall goal is to be able to advocate to the government to provide funding for startup businesses. We do not need to depend on the UNDP. We do not need to depend on NGOs to let small businesses survive. We have an obligation on the government to provide funding for small businesses, to provide funding for NGOs, to provide funding for schools, to provide funding for every youth-driven sector. And this is what I'm here for. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Jack. Thank you for that. Funding, low interest, low educational opportunities, data centers, those are what I gather. We now go to the next on my file already in red beside me. Is the Prezo, the sub Prezo, I would say. Because when there is leader, there's leaders to that. Start with you. Thank you. We have 2 minutes. Thank you.
2 minutes.
Apology, we're actually.
Okay, no problem.
Good, thank you.
Okay.
I was about to interject. I have nothing. Okay, go further.
No problem. So, if the question is restated, I would say education worries me the most. Mr. President, I'd like to bring to your attention the deplorable condition of our public schools across the country. And if it should be now business as usual, I'd like for you to pay visitation to some of these schools, especially Tomaha, TW Gibson, Sastan Public School in Bono, CH2 is sometimes the weekend while you are in Bono. I also like to bring to your attention 2 years ago, CEOs across the country came together and formulated what we call CEO residential fees. With the exception of bus riding, all of the schools in 14 counties pay what we call CEO residential fees. What that means, students are taking the burden of the rent for CEOs across the country. When I reflect out this issue in Buchanan of last year, the Minister of Education doubted my intelligence. They went forward to accepting as to whether the information was true. The CEOs agreed, and their response was, the CEOs are assigned to counties, they do not have place to stay. So because of that, the burden of the rent for CEOs across the country was shifted on the students. Another thing I also like to bring to your attention, Mr. President, is the continuous increment in the fees of tuition in our country. We are appealing to this government. If we cannot reduce the tuition fees in our public, both public and private schools, we are appealing to this government that there should not be an increment for this academic year. According to the Ministerial Education also, we're told that graduation fees for public schools should not be more than $5,000. Private schools, not more than $400 United States dollars. I have more than 50 information sheets in my car where private schools are charging $250, $300 United States dollars. I also like to talk about lack of opportunities for distinguished students, students who are graduating from high schools, are valedictorian. There's no mentorship program for them. I also like for the government of Liberia to go in that direction. And also distinguished students who graduate, professional students who graduate from various universities with distinction. The government of Liberia should have a program for them that they will be able to realize their dream. Lastly, Mr. President, I also like to bring to your attention the minimum amount of buses for our various university students. And this is not only for the public school, like the University of Liberia. Your students are AME, the Missouri University, UMP, they are Liberian students. They are appealing to you that the government can intervene to provide buses for the students to commute from one campus to another. The last point here, I don't want to be caught up again. I'd like to bring to your attention. Mr. President. If you look at the draft national budget of 2024, before your inauguration, the Liberia National Students Union and the Federation of Liberia, you had 200,000 respectively. But after your inauguration on the 22nd of January, when the budget went to recast, we currently have, if the testimony about 49,000. That amount is to be for the operational and administrative activities of the Liberia National Students Union. I also like to bring to your attention that the Liberia National Students Union is supposed to transition within 45 days. But this amount is not forthcoming. We also want to say to you, thank God we have the Director of Police, the IG, that the election of the National Student Movement should be considered as a national emergency. Because on the 25th of May, the NSC, which includes various university leaders and various country leaders, came to Monrovia and mandated us to conduct election in 90 days, which will expire on August 25th. If nothing is done swiftly, very soon we will see students in the streets protesting. Not that we don't want to transition, we are willing. As a matter of fact, we have conducted 2 elections through the help of one of our big brothers on the stage. I don't also want to call his name, like the reckless here, that you don't want to go to him. So he has been very instrumental in ensuring that we have the smooth transition of power at the National Student Movement. So on this note, I'd like to stop here and give the mic over to the President of the Federation of Liberia.
So, folks.
Thank you very much, Mr. President. You have
Mrs.
Ministerial
Mohammed Ganji Kamara, the President for the...
Here to listen to every young people. I'm hoping that there will be more time for this. Kindly, let's work in 30 seconds each so that we can make this heard. Thank you.
Thank you so much, my moderator. And I just want to say I love you a lot.
Do love you a lot too.
Thank you. Mr. President, you have my distinguished honor. So I just want to announce in this public forum to all of the youth that I seated here today that normally sometimes I pass you, and the reason why I pass you while speaking is because I'm like Mr. President. As he is the president, he is worried about the different challenges that his constituent is having. All of the citizens of Liberia. I'm also worried about all of the youth. So the people seated on this platform today, you have people across the end, panelists across the end, and panelists on this table as well. They are talking about things that I worry about a lot. And because I'm the president of the Federation of Liberia Youth, youth issues are cross-cutting. So that means that every bit and pieces of it, I'm worried every day. So I'm not just going to talk about just one thing. And because there are too much, Mr. President, I don't know who will help me give this to you. Because there are too much, I did a booklet of recommendations that if I do not mention anything, So the first thing I want to talk about, Mr. President, since you took over, we have sent, I think, 3 different letters at the executive mansion asking for an audience with you, Mr. President. Unfortunately for us, all of those letters did not review. The other day, someone asked me, you sure you brought a letter? They will really check for it. So I think they got missing somewhere, probably on first floor or second floor. But I think this is an opportunity. I don't like to waste opportunity. So I'm going to go straight to my point. The first thing I want to talk about today is what we have done. Mr. President, I got elected 20 months ago, and when I got elected, it was the period of elections. And during that period, all of the partners that we have as a Federation of Liberian Youth, all of their funds were directed towards election activities. So in order to have support from partners, you have to obviously plan your activities in the scope of election. So as the Federation of Liberian Youth, under my leadership, Mr. President, for the first time in the history of the Republic of Liberia, we conducted the first ever national youth election situation program. Also, Mr. President, people from your political party and other political parties of Liberia met in Buto in Nema County, where the civil war started. And even though we had a national declaration that everyone was signing on to, but we needed a youth declaration. So we met in Nema County and we signed on to the Buto Peace Declaration. And your chairman, youth chairman, he was very instrumental and very supportive to the workings of the Federation of Liberian Youth. Also, Mr. President, we led a campaign to ensure that we got 1 million first-time voters to register and cast the vote and be a part of the decision making. Now I go to what worries me the most. So I'm going to talk about 3 because you already have the booklet in your hand. So the first thing I'm going to talk about is the issue of unemployment, Mr. President. Mr. President, the youth of Liberia, we are poor. We are. There is poverty everywhere. Mr. President, as you are the president, I'm also the sworn president. A president I expected to do certain things. Mr. President, the youth of Liberia will reach out to me most times because they need help and they expect the institution to be able to help them. And because the institution has a lot to do, like the national president, most times we are not able to live up to the task because we are underfunded, Mr. President. The next thing I want to talk about with this issue of unemployment and what can we do about it. I am proposing, Mr. President, we have a demographic dividend, and that is our population. We represent 3 million of the people who live in this country. Mr. President, I want to believe most of the people who elected you are young people. And you also serve as the leader of the Federation of Liberian Youth. So I believe that you have the plight of the youth at the top of their agenda. Mr. President, in order to control this issue of unemployment, I totally agree with you. Let's look at the rest agenda. The agriculture sector. Mr. President, is a huge sector that the youth can get involved into and get a lot of job and have a mini or maximum startup and be able to cater to their own needs. Also, Mr. President, I don't have a lot of time, I want to go back. Also, Mr. President, we are proposing to you, please, let it be a law that before you leave secondary school, before you leave secondary school as a youth of this nation, you should have a skill set in vocational education. Because when we do that, Mr. President, it means that if a person is graduating with all even obtaining a job, they can be able to do something with their hand and be able to have end means. And when they do that, the burden will reduce on the economy as a whole. Mr. President, I'm also proposing, let's partner with the private sector. We need partnership with the private sector. Mr. President, I don't know whether concession agreements that are signed in this country, I don't know whether there's a portion to support youth startup. Mr. President, let's think of that. Also, Mr. President, vocational skills are very important, and let's give more support to vocational education. Also, I want to talk about the issue of drugs, just a little light on that. It is worrisome. There's a report from the UNFPA that said in every 10 youth, 2 are taking in the substance of drugs. And she spoke, about the sector in a whole, and I think it was very brilliant. But what I want to show light on, Mr. President, if the youth resign, if the youth decide not to go forward, if the youth do not have things to do with their leisure time, they will get involved into the use of narcotics and the use of drugs and substance abuse. So, Mr. President, I am proposing a national task force. I know there is this ministerial task force, but we need a youth-led movement. We have had a series of meetings among ourselves as statutory bodies. But the reason why we have not launched that task force to carry on prevention education is because we are underfunded. Mr. President, since January we are volunteers, we should have access to our staffing, we haven't received it. Our paper is in the Ministry of Finance. Every time we go there, people tell us they're not ready to work, Mr. President. Mr. President, I'm like you have a passion to serve. You want to make changes from people who are supposed to be supporting your vision. I think they are not doing the work, Mr. President. So there's more effort that needs to be done. Also, we are here today gathering. This is a national youth gathering. And then there's a political party that's also coming on that, I think a forum, a town hall as well. Mr. President, we need reconciliation. Elections are over in the Federation of Liberia along with other statutory bodies.
Thank you, Mr.
So that was the voice of the president of the Youth Federation. So next.
Actual.
We are going to the next ornaments, and for them, this is the town hall meeting
Your Excellency,
with youth.
Let me remind you or to inform you that in some months into your administration, there are other ministry and agencies that have recognized the work that we do as young people. And before you call us, they have called us earlier to have conversation with us. And to mention is the Ministry of Foreign Affairs that have promised to have the youth test to Liberia, the U.S. School of Coast, and the Ministry of State to Minister Capital, and that of the security apparatus. I am from the peace background, and I believe many of our colleagues, youth organizations in peace are here. So I'm on the panel to represent them. Of all the peace-building initiatives, messages and words we continue to carry on in this country, there is this growing wave of huge engagement into drugs and substance abuse. That if it is not taken care of, the fear that our peace could one day be undermined. We need to be careful. One of the statistics that we have from the Ministry of Health told us that of the 5.5% of the population, we have 20% of people who do directly in drugs. And when you make that calculation, it's 1,100,000. So one thing, if we don't address it, in no distant future, we might be like a typical president in this country. The two is T-Web education. Oh, look around Monserrado and also look at the 15 counties. We are discussing quality education that will meet the demand of our Liberian youth. There's no T-Web education in most of the rural areas. Only Monserrado have few. It's a concern here, excuse me. We have young people who have gone to school and are qualified, and other people who are on service, they are retired, but then there's no program to retire them and to bring on board other young people who want to serve in the civil service. It's another challenge that we have. We have child trafficking in this country. The last time the Minister of Human Sport made a declaration in one of our sections that people in the rural areas send their children in Monrovia with the hope that they are living with their relative, only to be seen in the street setting. If we don't address this concern tomorrow, what do we think that the future will bring? We also have the young people constituting some 5% of the population. As I speak, we do not have any act, youth act, that govern the young people. We've been having youth policy. They expire 2 or 3 years. We need to have an act that will be legislated that govern the affairs of the young people of this country. My colleagues have said both. We also have an area that brings us, I'm not going to discuss it, apart. All of these youth institutions, the CLA, the NISO, the MRU, the YMCA, what sometimes troubles us so much, we do not have facility. Most often we are being put out of these areas that we rent when we don't have money to pay rent. So it will interest me, this leadership can see reason, at least build a complex that will host all young people. Again, for our business, our young people who are in entrepreneurship, how to access loan to make business. Our brother just made it clear. There's no policy. If you just engage in accessing loan, they don't have the ability. They don't have collateral. And some of them, their business die potentially. So we need the government to start crafting instruments that address young people that are engaged into entrepreneurship. I think that would be okay. And lastly, to agriculture. And the reason I'm discussing agriculture is that agriculture is installed into the arrest agenda. And I believe through agriculture, most of our young people who are unemployed can be part of it. What will happen if we as country, tomorrow if China cannot bring rice to all the people? What will happen? We have already climate change. If the supply of rice from China to India is not coming, then we expect to be pure from where? And so agriculture, in my mind, should be taken more seriously. His Excellency, thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Even though you and I did not live up to my time. Thank you. But we move to the officer, and Madam Officer, kindly. Getting the officer 30 minutes, 30 seconds to talk about the case within the So I'm glad that my boss is here today. I am from the women department because I focus on promoting women within the security sector. As we all know, the security sector is a male-dominant field. So I'm going to be talking about the challenges that women face or young women face within the security, especially the police. So the first one on my list is lack of support and mentorship. When you are entering the police, you need experienced women to mentor you in order to know how to go about the security and issues that affect the community. If you have an experienced female officer who mentors you, trains you through the process and how to become a professional police officer, enhance your capacity and also advance your career. We have limited training and professional development opportunities. We also have limited training and professional development opportunities. We are asking the government, especially the IG who is in our midst, to develop programs, promote young women within the security sector, create trainings that will be able to develop them and advance them in their careers. We have gender discrimination and bias. As we all know, within the security sector, most of the time we find out that men are the ones in bigger positions. When it comes to promotion, it comes to assignment, women are discriminated when it comes to assignment and promotion. You look at the hierarchies right now, you see the difference, and you know what I'm talking about. So we want qualified women to be promoted to positions that they are qualified for. And we also have sexual harassment and violence. Women within the security sector are sexually harassed day to day. And then they need to report these cases, they don't have it, and sometimes the lack of confidence in the evidences that if you actually for. Or maybe will come to you that I have been sexually abused by my boss, and then you asking if she's right or asking for evidences. There were only two in the room. How do you expect her to have another person to serve as a witness? So we want the government of Liberia, especially our IG, to rid of these that these cases will be reported and they will be worked on. We also have sexual and cultural barriers. If you look at from the beginning of time, the security sector is not seen as a place for a woman. Most of the times it was like men should serve within the security, but we are saying that the security sector is not only for men, it's also for women. Women can be professional police officers, they can serve diligently to their country. And we also want the government to create a campaign and awareness within communities, high schools, universities, to have a club, talk about these issues, create more people who are interested to join the security sector and become professionals within our communities. Thank you.
So, folks, that was
Thank you very much. As much as we have a lot to say, it's unfortunate that we cannot say everything today.
So, folks,
My apology on that. We'd like to recognize Stone, who's currently in our midst right now. It's something that we must applaud him for because it's very rare to see musicians in this kind of environment. So, hats up to you, Stone. And yes, I hope you're having yourself a time. Nonetheless, again, my apology. We just can't go much ahead. We'd like to, under actual, and I mean that 30 seconds, hear the final words from our panelists. Actual 30 seconds. Thank you very much.
Final words. So, I look forward to a national youth agenda that will be created by this government. But before that, the young people in Liberia came together a couple of months ago to craft a document through the Federation of Liberia Youth and also the Young Political Leadership School to start. A national youth agenda is also good to take a look at the agenda that was crafted by the young people in Liberia. So, Mr. President, thank you so much. And I would like to state something. Talking is something that's taking over youth representation. And we need to stop this tokenistic behavior. When I say that, I'm getting position without actual influence. 30 seconds. The 10,000 young people that have been trained in digital education, I thought I would be riding bike in Monrovia and see pictures of statutory youth leaders ensemble mobilizing young people to sign up for it. I thought Fly, Linksu, MRU, YMCA would be more engaged in actual youth projects and not just on paper. I wish that moving forward we'll have more of that and not just that. Also, to close up, crafting a youth agenda means putting young people actually in charge. And it is a burden to me or it's a concern to me why we have a youth and sports minister that is above 25 years old. Also, I honestly believe that capable young people in Liberia within the age range that are able to run the Ministry of Youth and Sports. Moving forward, I am one person. I do not believe that Liberia deserves a youth advisory panel. I don't believe Liberia deserves a youth advisor. I will propose and recommend that we have a national youth advisory panel to the president. I serve on several advisory boards. I've seen these things work for international missions, and I think we need to incorporate.
Thank you, Mr. President. Thank you very much.
So each panelist was given 30 seconds to say what all is on
Thank
the
you so
mind.
much. So before I close, I want to give my 5 years vision of my country, Liberia. I envision a vibrant, transformative society where young people are the driving force behind positive change. I hope for a future where drug addiction, is no longer seen as an escape from the pressure of life, but rather young people are empowered with the tools to support the tools and support they need to strive. I imagine a digital society where young Liberians are at the forefront, setting new standards and raising the bar for technology and innovation. I have a dream that in 5 years, we will have less importation of drugs. When people they drug in agency, we need to say no to drugs and we need to say no to stigmatization. When I came in earlier, I was wearing a white suit, a very expensive white suit. And then I went to the bathroom. While I was walking, because few of you know me, everyone greeted me very kindly and very respectfully. I went to the bathroom and I changed into this. You know, I'm a bonnet and we were in the parking lot. You see? And then I was coming, some of the people who don't know me as Jojo, they were like, where you going? Pound this up. Pound this up. Let's say no to stigmatization. Trust me, in the ghetto, we have some people who are smarter than some people who are in this building right now. And let's say no to stigmatization.
Say no to stigmatization. Thank you very much.
So the other parts of Jojo, she owns a rehabilitation center, and she one of those that making sure that the youth are on the street, they are rehabilitated.
This government that we have a way to establish a youth entrepreneurship and innovation fund in the agenda to grow youth issues. It's very important for us. If the national budget can have this there reflecting, if we can put small money in to reflect on small businesses, my business will survive. I'll be able to employ more than 10 people that actually have working, and I'll be people from the dirt. I'm from the dirt in Liberia. I believe that so many other people can come from there. 3% I work with are actually from Liberia. I'm sending them to school. I'm doing a lot for them, but not everybody can be able to do that. So hope that we can have a way that the next agenda for youth, if there's already one, if it's not, I hope the one that's coming, we can establish one where funding can be attached to young people. And before I close up, please, Madam Beautiful, see what you do. So I think it's too easy.
Thank you.
Whole country too easy.
Yes. Mr. President, this is one of them. They have colors. It's 2016, so thank you.
So that's this one can gesture to the president as a young man in the business.
It's too easy. To you.
So the president Peter for the smile.
Thank you so much.
That's his t-shirt.
I like to recommend to the president that there must be equal participation in the decision-making processes of our country, including institutions, even student-led institutions that are doing very well in our country, such as Golden Africa, Smart Liberia, and other institutions. As the last point, I would like to recommend an appointment of a new advisor. I would like to give my sister because it's setting up
to our institution. Thank you very much, Mr. President. Thank you very much.
So I would recommend that